In this video, I'll explain how to subtract three-digit numbers with place value models. I'm going to have a few different examples on here. The first one is how to subtract without decomposing a 10 or 100. So there will be no regrouping in this first equation. We have 795 subtract 253. Whenever I'm doing place value models, I like to make this frame so I can keep my hundreds, tens, and ones organized. It makes it easier to count. So I'm going to draw the greater number in the equation, 795. It has 7 hundreds, so we'll draw 7 hundreds. It has 9 tens and 5 ones. Now that I've shown that first number with a model, I can subtract 253. I'm going to show subtraction by crossing out the hundreds, tens, and ones that equal a value of 253. So 253 has 2 hundreds, so I cross out 2 hundreds. It has 5 tens, so I will cross out 5 tens. And it has 3 ones, so we'll cross out 3 ones. Once I've crossed out the 253, I can count what I have left, and that will be the difference or the answer to my subtraction equation. I like to count my ones first. You don't have to, but I just like to. I have 2 ones, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So I have 500 plus 40 plus 2, which is 542. This next example, we're going to look at what subtracting three-digit numbers with place value models looks like with decomposing a 10. So I'll start with my frame. I'm going to start with the greater number in the equation, so 795. In the hundreds place, there's a 7, so I will draw 7 hundreds. In the tens place, there is a 9, so I will draw 9 tens. And in the ones place, there are 5 ones, so I'll draw 5 ones. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 257 by crossing out the blocks that represent 257. So there's a 2 in the hundreds place, I can cross that out. There is a 5 in the tens place, so I'll cross out 5 tens. And there's a 7 in the ones place. I see that I don't have 7 ones, so what I need to do is I need to decompose a 10, which means I'm going to take it and break it apart. Some of you know this as regrouping. When I break apart 10, it will always turn into 10 ones. A 10 is made of 10 ones. So if you are going to decompose a 10, you must draw the 10 ones it is turning into. Now I can subtract my 7 ones. Okay. Now that I have subtracted the 257, I can count what is left in my model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 8, and the ones. 10, 20, 30, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So I have 500 plus 30 plus 8 is 538. In this part of the video, we're going to look at how to subtract when you have to decompose a 100. So we'll draw our model. I had to change up my numbers a little bit. So we have 715 minus 253. So there is 7 in the hundreds place, 1 in the tens place, and 5 in the ones place. I'm going to subtract 253. So I'll take away my 200s. I need to take away 5 tens, but I do not have 5 tens to subtract. So I'm going to cross out a 100 and decompose it. When I decompose a 100, it turns into 10 tens because 10 tens has an equal value to 100. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that I have my 10 tens, I can subtract my 5 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll subtract my 3 ones. I've subtracted 253, so now I can count what is left to find the difference. 1, 2 ones, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 100, 200, 300, 400. So we have 400 plus 60 plus 2 is 462. In this last example, we're going to see what it looks like when you need to decompose a 10 and 100 to solve. Draw that model. Okay, so we are going to draw the greater number still, so 715. We'll draw 7 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our 110 and our 5 ones. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 257. So I'll cross out my 200s. I will subtract 5 tens. I don't have enough tens, so I need to decompose a 100. Make sure when you decompose that 100, you are drawing 10 tens. Now that I've decomposed this 100, I can subtract my 5 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, I want to subtract my 7 ones. I do not have enough ones. Oh man. Okay, so I'm going to decompose a 10. When I decompose a 10, I want to make that 10 ones because 10 ones is an equal value to a 10. Okay, so now that I have decomposed that 10, I can subtract my 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have subtracted 257, so now I can count what is left to find the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 100, 200, 300, 400. So 400 plus 50 plus 8 is 458.